Hey guys, it's Sky bringing another video. So about a month or so ago, I put out of a picture of me before my transition. It was the first time I've done it. I have a couple of pictures up of when I was a kid, but for the most part, I've never put out a before and after pic of my transition. And I did it a month ago. I talked to a few of my close friends, people, my brother. I even said, should I put this out? Do you think it's a positive thing for me to put this out for people to see? It's something that I've struggled with. I'm just not, fully being comfortable with, posting before and after. And, I was really proud of myself that I was able to do it. I guess for the most part, it was because I didn't want people to see me differently. I wanted them to see, who I really am and see Haley, So, it's been a very unique situation since I posted that. I had a lot of close friends come up to me and say they're really proud of me, and saying it was amazing to see my before and after, and that it was, what I've been able to accomplish, and my transition has been beautiful. So, and I'm really grateful for those positive comments because, it was something that I really felt like it was holding me back in a sense because I wasn't fully comfortable with myself. And now I'm able to, share that and just be, happy with who I am and what I've been able to go through really has changed a lot in my life. I went through so many dark times in my life of wanting to transition, but just never having the confidence. I didn't feel like I had, the right foundation around me for me to really get through it okay. I wasn't a very strong kid. I wasn't very comfortable. There was so many times where I was just really, I got embarrassed easy. I didn't like standing in front of the class. Like, I didn't like attention, none of that stuff. So it made it even more difficult. I grew up religious. So it's like, there were certain things in my life that made it very difficult to just, be confident with who I was, and accept myself, instead of always being negative, and I didn't know if I would ever transition, to be honest with you. I tried to fight it pretty much, as hard, as much as I can, and I tried to really express that to people. There was, times in my life where, I didn't know what was going to happen to me. I guess there was times in my life where I thought I would do something really bad to myself before I transitioned. It was a scary time in my life, because I didn't have anybody to talk to. I didn't have a direction where I wanted to go. Now that we have social media, now that we have YouTube and we're able to post our stories and connect with others, I feel like we have a chance to, do something unique to reach out to other transgender kids around the world that are struggling. And I believe in being a positive influence. People will always have their opinions on, who I am as a person, whether what I'm doing is right or wrong, and that's okay because, that's everyone. There's always going to be people out there that don't see, what people stand for. And if they do stand for something, if it's positive or negative. So for me, I can't control that. All I can control is try to be a positive influence, not try to be negative in any sense or, bring anybody down, and say anything negative on here. I always try to do the best I can to really stay, happy with things in my life and be strong and then share that with you guys because I want, other people, whether they're little or they're grown adults, I want them to be able to connect with me and, talk to me if they're going through things in their life. And I've been able to really, get through some really dark times and, I have my flaws, but the one thing that I can always say is it took a lot of strength to be where I am today. It took a lot of courage in a sense. Courage is different. So let me rephrase that because, people in our military, people in law enforcement, people that fight fires and there's that type of courage is different, and I always respect that. I respect that, anybody that's willing to put their life on the line to protect others. So I am grateful for that, and those people are special. For me, it's a different type of, courage, in a sense that, you have to keep your head up and, be confident with who you are. When I first was going through my transition, and after I had my surgery in Thailand and stuff, I went right back to bowling, and it was very, unique experience and very scary, intimidating, environment, because they haven't seen me as Haley. I grew up at the bowling alley. My mom's always run a league, and I've been around these people since I was a little kid. They watched me grow, and me coming there being somebody different, it's going to bring attention, and people are going to talk about it no matter what, no matter who you are. And, it was very difficult. I won't lie to you. Like the first year or the first season coming back to bowling, I had my head down a lot. I wasn't confident. I wasn't really talking to anybody. I kind of just went there, talked within my team and just bowled. But the thing is what's crazy is I think a lot of them started respecting me so much more, because they started talking to me more after that season. Other teams wanted me to bowl with them, and, I really started to form relationships and friendships with people that even before my transition, I didn't even talk to. Yes, I did lose some friends, some people I was close to before my transition, but that's life. And, everybody's not going to see eye to eye with each other. Everybody's not going to understand each other. So, it's something I had to experience, and I had to learn and grow and get stronger from it. You can't let something like that really bring you down, which I had before. So if I'd be lying to you if I said it didn't hurt me before. I'd be very hypocritical in that sense. I've gone through so many different, phases of my life, and that's why I try to make videos for you guys, because I want to walk you through, what I've gone through and the steps, I've made to get to where I am today. And it hasn't been easy, but, it's made me stronger, and it's motivated me to put out these videos to reach out to others that are going through certain, situations that might not have the same, foundation as I did. Nothing is perfect in my life, but, I did have, my brother, I had my parents, I had my problems here and there with them, but for the most part, if I really needed them, they would be there. And sometimes people don't have that. And I want others to, feel comfortable with talking to me, because I do care for them, and I do want, good things for them in their lives. I want people to have a chance at being successful and happy and following their dreams, because that's all we have in this world. And if you waste it away being negative, and not striving for the things you want, it's depressing. So it's been a very unique journey. It's been 3 years since I've had my surgery in Thailand, since I had SRS, and that was in itself a very unique experience. I went down there for a month, and it took a while to recover from surgery, and it was a very difficult journey. It took about 6 to 8 months just to fully heal. And during that time, there's points in my life where I was depressed, because, it's such a big decision in your life doing that you still can question whether you made the right decision. And for me, I went through some, times where I had panic attacks, which I've never had before, because it's so, you're so worried that you made the wrong mistake and that you ruined your life, and I'm being honest about it. But the thing is, I think for anybody, anytime you make a big decision in your life, it's something that you're going to question for a while until you feel comfortable that you made the right decision. And for me, that's what happened. I feel so much more confident in my body now. So I know it was the right decision. I was never happy before, and I just never felt like that was me in a sense, and having SRS surgery really changed that, and I feel finally at peace with who I am, and I feel comfortable and confident. Before I felt so awkward, but now, I feel like everything's connected to each other, and it's so easy for me to just be natural and genuine and smile, and a lot of the people that have seen me through my whole life seen the positive change, in my demeanor and, just the way I carry myself. So, I'm extremely grateful for that. And it's been a unique journey. I started my transition later, and, unfortunately, as people know, when you're transgender and you start your transition later, it's harder to really, be successful and to fit in. You go through puberty and things like that. So, it's difficult to, be satisfied with, who you are. And for me, I'm always been very negative towards myself as it is, and I've always held myself to high standards. So, growing up, and I was just like, there's people close to me that told me, you're not going to be happy if you transition. You're not going to fit in. You're not going to be, I had friends tell me you're going to be ugly and things like that. Like, yeah, it's hurtful what they said. And, unfortunately, some people are just not very nice and are either that or they're unhappy with their own lives. So I've been told things, and I even question it within myself. I'm 5'10", 5'11", and, I have long legs, but I never really understood before that people view it differently. Like, some people like that, and for me, I thought negatively about myself. Oh, I'm taller, I'm not going to be happy, this and that. And it made me sad. It made me sad that I wasn't going to ever be able to look in the mirror and finally be comfortable with being myself. But now, when I look at myself, I see a beautiful woman, and I never thought that was ever going to be possible. And it's not the looks so much, it's the way I carry myself. It's the way how I feel comfortable with who I am, and comfortable with what I'm wearing, and just, being appreciative of, everything I've been through and been able to accomplish, and it's not easy. I know there's transgenders around the world, worrying about if they go through their transition, what they're going to look like, or if they're going to be happy, or if they're going to feel successful, if they're going to be discriminated against. It's not easy. There's so many things you worry about, and that can take away from your happiness. I lived that way for so long, and it was honestly such an amazing feeling when I started my transition. You finally feel like you're headed in the direction of finally being yourself. You're taking hormones, you're excited, and you're excited about what the future holds, and what you can really accomplish, and there's so much more I want to do, but, I feel like, I've been able to keep my head up, be a strong person, and to really earn the respect from people around me, whether it's from softball, whether it's from bowling, whether it's from, my family, or maybe not everyone, but there is people that have come to me that have said some really amazing things to me that I've never heard before, so and it's on YouTube and in social media and all that. So, I've had people tell me nice things in public, and, saying, I go to a grocery store and somebody will say how beautiful you are, and it's amazing. It's changed my life, and it's made me a more compassionate person to the people around me. And that's not just for them going through what I'm going through, but that's people in general going through, very difficult times in their life. What people don't realize is this world's so difficult, not only on, people like me, but everyone. It's challenging. There's so many ups and downs. There's so many dark spots in our lives, things that we struggle with that we don't admit to, and it's easy to be negative and jealous of others because of, what they're able to accomplish. I wish I could be more successful career-wise, but, it's not going to do it for any good for me if I, I'm jealous of that. What I need to do is focus on what I want to do in my life and strive for that and want more for myself. So, and I've learned a lot. I used to be a very negative person. I used to wish I had what others had. I wish, I could be, better person, because of, being negative at times and just not liking that part of me. I always knew that I was a kind person that wanted good for others, but I struggled so much in my own life that it made it hard for me to be positive and to think consistently that way. So, I've really been through a lot. I've had times in my life where when I was going through the beginning of my transition, my mom came up to, we're in the car and she's like, "Are you sure you're going to be happy with this transition?" And I was like, "Yes, Mom, you have no idea." And then like 2 months after I started my transition, like even at that point, she's like, "Wow, I see it. I see such a change in you." And because she's seen my negativity before, she's seen my unhappiness, and she's seen the change in it. And that was just the beginning of it. That wasn't even getting to the point where I am today. She knows I go through challenges still, and she wishes I wasn't. I let myself get depressed sometimes, but she does respect me for what I've been able to go through and to accomplish. And this year, when we were at the river in the summer, she said I was beautiful, and she never said anything like that. And my mom's really not the type of person to really say that. Not that she doesn't feel like that about people, but she doesn't really comment on it. And she's like, because sometimes, I was upset, or we went to the river and I got sunburned. I was like, "Oh, I'm ugly, this and that." Like I was being very negative about myself. And she's like, you're beautiful, and you don't even need makeup. And that's how, she's like, "You're just a beautiful person." And I was like, I didn't know what to say. Like that made me feel so good. She like made my weekend and my life by just saying that, because I love her so much. I've always looked up to her. She's an amazing person. She's, took care of me. We always have our difference of opinions and things, and and that's all in my family. But the fact that she took the time to say something really nice to me, and it really meant a lot to me, and it really made me smile and feel good. So, it's been a very unique experience. And, I have a support group that I go to on Wednesdays sometimes. I used to have voice therapy with my voice therapist that I used to go to. I still go to her when we do the groups, but I can't really afford to go there for voice therapy anymore. But I used to go there, and she was a really amazing person. And she's seen my, transition from beginning to end. And she says so many amazing things of like how, successful I've been with the whole transition. And that's just not even, the way I look, but that's, how I carry myself, my voice and everything, and it means a lot to me. And I hear so many nice comments, at the support group. We all write little notes and, give them out to everybody else after we do our session, because it's not just a support group, it's a voice group. We practice our voices in a circle, and, we go through that and, and give each other positive feedback. We give each other positive feedback on, what we're doing good, and just, how, we're learning from things. So, and the messages I've gotten from them have been amazing. Like a lot of them have said some really crazy things to me, from when I first went to where I was going. And, there was somebody made a comment about how, they look at me as like where they want to get to. And that was, a crazy, thing to hear. Like I don't go as much as everybody else, and people in my support group know the struggles I go through, and they see it, and they always say nice things to me when they see me. They see my struggles, and I hear things from my teacher. She's my friend, but she's also the one that runs the voice therapy group, and she says that certain they look up to me. And it's crazy to think that way, because I'm the one that probably struggles the most in the group. But for them to say that, it means a lot to me because of what I've been through, and I sometimes don't see the amazing changes in my life. I'm starting to get better with that and be more confident with myself, and realize that being confident in myself doesn't mean that I have to be arrogant. I could just, be assured of what I've been through and what I've been able to accomplish. And that's exactly where I've gotten to. But I've also kept the positive mindset and, being humble with, how I was raised and how I grew up. That's just who I've always been. I've always been about protecting others and showing compassion to people to help them, pick themselves up in their own lives. So, this whole transition has been a very unique journey. I have learned more from this part of my life than I did before. I've really grown so much. And at the beginning of my transition, it was almost like I was born again. I struggled with immaturity, at first. I did, stupid things. I acted immature, and I've grown from it. And I've grown into a beautiful woman that I'm proud of, and it's been a very amazing journey for me, and I want to share that with you guys and, share with you guys, who I was, and who I transitioned into, and this is who I've always been. I just had to find my way, home in a sense, and I'm grateful for the people around me that have supported me, with my family. My dad went with me to Thailand, and, I couldn't. I'm extremely grateful for the rest of my life for him doing that. And, I was going to go alone, and he ended up going with me, and that's something that I can never, pay him back for doing or, ever express to him how much it meant. And I love my family. I've always been about family, and I think that's why sometimes I'm overly emotional, because if I feel like my family doesn't love me, it hurts me because I care so much about them, and I'm a tough person, but I'm also very compassionate and emotional. It's easy for me to get hurt by the people that I care most about, and I used to deny it, but it's the truth, and it's just who I am as a person. I try to get better. I try not to be overly emotional at times, and I have improved, in aspects of my life, but, it's something that's just made me who I am. So, it's been a very crazy, unique journey. I feel like I've blossomed into, a beautiful person on the inside and out, and I'm grateful for, what I have. I still want to strive for more and to continue to show you guys my transition and just, from start to finish to where I've been. I'm grateful. It's been a very difficult journey. It was hard for me to find an endocrinologist, somebody that will help me, help me start my transition with hormones, and, I was grateful to finally found somebody. There was, times in my life where I tried to transition before at a younger age, and, I just never had the strength before. And then I finally, heard something from somebody close to me, and, they told me if I can't be happy, I'm never going to be able to make anybody else happy. And that made me sad, because more than anything, I cared to make other, I wanted to do nice things for the people around me. And, before in my life, I didn't want to transition because I thought, how much I'd let the people around me down. It was never about me. It was more about caring for people so much that I just didn't want to hurt them. And, I just got tired of being negative. I got tired of letting not only the people around me down, but just not caring about myself and wanting to change the cycle that I lived in, because I didn't think I could make it any longer, and I was getting scared, with my emotions and how much darkness I felt like I was surrounded by. So, I made the decision, and now I'm Haley, and, I finally feel confident and comfortable with who I am and, what I've been able to, really get through. And I've earned a lot of respect from people I used to work with, from people that used to know me when I was younger, and I've had comments from people that I play softball with, they say that they want to surround their daughters with somebody like me because they see me as a beautiful woman, trans woman, really, and to think that somebody would feel that way, and trust me, because I've always been about, kids, and I've always been protective of kids, especially my nieces and nephew, and I've always been really good about connecting. I've always been very understanding because I remember when I was a kid and how alone I was and how lost I was. It's so difficult, especially when you're a kid, because you don't really have a foundation yet. You don't have the confidence yet to be able to get through difficult situations. So I do my best to listen to them, and try to, instead of already judge them and get mad at them, I try to really give them somebody that they can talk to, So I just, it's amazing that people, think of me like that, they look at me as a women figure for their daughters. Obviously there's things I don't know. I wasn't, I don't fully go through the things that they go through, but, as a strong person, I'm not letting people, shame me, whether they think I'm ugly or, they criticize me, on the features I have of being a woman and things like that. That kind of stuff, I know I could be a positive influence because I don't allow people to put me down in that sense where it bothers me. Like I said, my problem is more emotionally from the people close to me that are my friends that I feel hurt by. So, it's been a very unique journey. Unfortunately, this world can be very negative, especially with social media, criticizing people behind a computer and just being, whether they're, jealous of, the strength that people are able to have to be themselves, and not being comfortable with them being able to be how they wanted to be. So, you can really allow this world to, bring you down and be negative if you look at the negative messages. That's why it's important to surround yourself with positive people, because that positivity is going to lead you to strive for your dreams and to want to do good in this world, and I hope all of you guys, anybody that watches my videos, really thinks about that and thinks about what they want to do in this world and strive for it. Don't allow somebody else to tell you that you can't do something, Believe in yourself, work hard, and just, smile, be happy, and, spend those moments with your family and the people around you that you love, because this is times you'll never get back. This world, the time we have here is precious, and all we have, at the end of the day is the memories and moments that we share with each other. So, I'm always here for you guys. I wanted to really share with you guys, my transition and what I've been able to go through. I was 28 years old before, when I started my transition, and, there's people that, are surprised by that because, obviously, like, you hear that, at a later age, it's harder to transition and, fit in and be comfortable with yourself because, society, it makes it hard to connect with people and not be judged. So, I've felt, very fortunate enough to, get to the point where I am today and, feel natural. Like now when I'm living and I go through my other everyday life, like when I pull into a drive-through, a fast food place, or when I communicate with somebody, at a store or something like that. Like before, when I first started my transition, I was like, all right, I'm ready for this. I'm Haley, I kind of almost got myself ready to talk to people, and I wanted to be the best version of myself possible, where they looked at me and they're like, wow, this all right, this woman's beautiful. All right, I'm going to talk to this woman, like thinking that way instead of just, worried about if they see me as a woman, and now I'm just myself and I feel comfortable and I don't think about it. And there was times where I didn't think it would ever be like that. I thought for the rest of my life I was going to go into situations already preparing to, be accepted or to fit in. So it's been a very unique experience. And, the thing I tell people more than anything that ask about, my voice or my transition or what I've been able to do to make me successful is, understand who you are and don't try to be something that you're not. Like, have your voice be your personality, and vice versa. And that's really what's, made me feel comfortable and successful with who I am. So, you know, and I always share that at my support group on, you know, talking to other women there and just getting them to feel comfortable with themselves. You know, everybody's different. Everybody's transition is going to be different, you know, and life isn't fair in a sense that, you know, people will have stuff that somebody else won't, you know. And for me, you know, I had that jealousy with other transgenders in my group. You know, some of them are really successful, you know, and it made me very depressed, you know. And I, you know, I'm different than them, and you know, there's things that, you know, that make me different, and there's things that make them different. So, you know, it's about really, you know, really just, you know, working on what makes you special, and, you know, go to that, and, you know, use those, your abilities of who you are as a person, to be successful in this world, you know, and to find what makes you happy. So, you know, and I just want to share that with you guys, and, you know, let you guys know with, you know, my transition and everything, and, you know, how I've gotten to where I am today, and, you know, what I've been through. You know, if you guys ever have questions for me, I'm always here for you. You know, I love you guys. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, it helps me out. If you want to know more about my life, subscribe. I will see you guys on the next video.